So good morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the mat this lovely sunny morning. I hope it's sunny wherever you are as well. This week's focus is on balance and stability. So we're giving ourselves a little kind of check-in. So when it comes to balance, we're talking about balance left to right, front to back, the whole realm of the body that we're kind of noticing niggles before they start to kind of zigzag down the rest of our fascial chain. So sometimes we might have an ache in a shoulder, and then we might find that transfers down into the opposite hip, the opposite knee, the opposite ankle. So the body tends to run in these little zigzag chains because we're overcompensating. So we're going to try to even just tuning in with those imbalances. Okay, so even if we don't achieve the balance poses, noticing why it's more difficult maybe on one side than the other, and then kind of painting a little story back to something maybe that might have happened. So again, not beating yourself up about it, but definitely mindfully getting into the body this morning. As we go through the different poses, I'll explain how we can make them more challenging or more easy. So I'm not going to talk too much at the start, and we'll get right into it. Okay, so come into a nice easy cross-legged seat. We're going to rest the palms on the knees. We're going to roll the shoulders back, draw the belly in, and sit as tall as we can. Opening the palms to the ceiling. We'll inhale the arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to the ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward and really stretch between the shoulder blades. I'm going to do that 2 more times. One more time, bring those arms right back in line with the ears. Lovely. Straight away, we're going to warm up into those hips. So we're going to place the left hand or the left foot into the left hand, right knee into the right hand, bringing that chin a little bit higher if you can, but try not to collapse, and just gently rock. Just gently rock into that right hip, really slowly, gently wakening up that hip space. Again, nothing forced, just getting a little bit of movement, a little bit of energy, a little bit of space. And just notice how it feels. So even depending on how we slept the previous night can really affect those hips. So don't pay too much attention. So we really warm up into the body. For now, just getting a little bit of movement. We're going to meet back at center, chest to shin, shin to chest. If you want to go deeper, foot rest in the left elbow crease, knee into the right, and again, sit nice and tall. We're just going to pause here. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose, nice and deep down into the belly for 3. For 2. And 1. Gently release. So again, we can either come to easy cross-legged with the right foot on top, or we can come into our log pose with the right ankle stacked on top of the left knee, and the right knee stacked on top of the left ankle. Drawing the toes toward the knees. So again, if that right knee is way up in the air, I'd probably encourage you to come into easy cross-legged with the right leg on top. And if we're in log pose, we're pressing that right knee, but just using that hip muscle. Sitting as tall as we can. Hands are rested on the balls of the feet. We're drawing the toes toward the knees. We might just sit here if that feels good, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, we're going to inhale, lengthen, and as we exhale, gently fold. Pressing the chest forward, drawing the shoulders back, taking the gaze forward until we can't fold anymore, and then we might rest the hands out in front and rest the head in. Every inhale, draw forward through the chest. Every exhale, walk those fingertips forward a little bit more. As we do so, pressing the ground away. And even if we're not in our fold, we're going to be feeling this into the hips. Lengthening on the inhale, folding on the exhale. So again, just creating a little bit of space in the spine. As we tuck the chin in, feeling it all the way up to the neck. 1 more breath. Gently tuck the chin in, slowly walk the hands back toward the body. We're going to get the left hand, place it just above the right knee. Inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, gently twist to the right. Place the right hand on the ground behind us. As we inhale, press the hand into the ground, lengthen. And as we exhale, draw that right shoulder back. We're going to look over the shoulder. Maybe even press that left hand into the leg to get a little bit more leverage into the twist. Every inhale, drawing ourselves tall. Every exhale, twisting and releasing from that lower back. Feeling it 1 more time. And then gently inhale back to center, small little twist to the left, just to release. And then back to center again. We can rest that right foot down. We're going to pick the left foot up, place it into the right hand, knee into the left hand, and draw the toe toward the knee, sit as tall as we can, and maybe bring the shin a little bit higher, gently rocking. Again, nice and slow. And again, straight away, just noticing how it feels comparing to the other side. Is it a little bit easier? Is it a little bit more restricted? And again, we're not forcing the movement, but we are looking for our full natural range here. So just see how far we can go. So no pain, just some nice wakening up of those hip joints. Relax the breath. Relax the shoulders. Nice and slow. We're going to meet back at center, chest to shin, shin to chest. Maybe place the foot into the right elbow crease, knee into the left. And again, either interlocking fingers or catch and hold of that left shin. Relaxing into the pose here, feeling that into the left hip. Again, not forcing it, so there shouldn't be any twinging sensations, just a nice gentle release for 3. For 2. And 1. Again, option here to either rest the left foot on top of the right, coming into a nice easy cross-legged, or we can stack that left ankle on top of the right knee, the left knee on top of the right ankle, drawing the toes toward the knees, and just notice is that knee a little bit higher than it was on the other side. So again, noticing any little instabilities, imbalances in those hips. Again, we can stay here, draw the toes toward the knees, relax the shoulders back. If we want to deepen, we're going to inhale tall, and as we exhale, gently fold. Again, leading with the chest, lengthening from the lower back, relax the shoulders back, gazes forward until we can't fold any further. And then we can relax the head, relax the neck, maybe bring those hands out front. As we inhale, literally dragging the ground toward us so we can really press the chest forward. And as we exhale, sink a little bit more. And again, we shouldn't be feeling this in the knees, particularly if we're in log pose. Keep drawing those toes toward the knees, so keeping those lower legs active. Relax the breath. Tucking the chin in, really feeling that all the way up into the neck. Grounding those sit bones back. We'll take one more breath. Gently tuck the chin in. Slowly walk the hands back toward the body. We're going to get the right hand, place it just above the left knee. Inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the left, placing the hand on the ground behind us. As we inhale, sit tall, lengthen. And as we exhale, gently twist. Twisting from that lower back into the ribcage, into the chest, and looking all the way over that left shoulder. Noticing if we're collapsing into the left hand, make sure it's nice and close to that lower spine. We can press that right hand into the leg to draw ourselves a little bit deeper into that twist. Lengthening through the spine on the inhale, and then twisting into that space on the exhale. We'll take one more breath. And then gently inhale back to center, small little twist to the right. And then exhale back. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Pressing the soles of the feet together or walking the heels toward the sit bones toward the heels. See if we can interlock the fingers around the outer edges of those feet. And again, just notice if we're rounding, consciously drawing the shoulders back and sitting as tall as we can. See if we can press the knees down toward the ground a little bit more. And we're just going to pause here. So focusing here on drawing those knees down toward the ground. We're not using the elbows, just the hip muscles themselves. Getting a little bit of space. And feel free to even do a little flutter into the hips here without any pressure, without any weight, just gently wakening up that hip space. So again, when it comes to balance and stability, the hips and the lower legs and feet and ankles are probably the two main areas that if we have little imbalances, we're going to find it really hard to keep that balance. Also the core, if we're not engaging the core. And if we're not breathing fully. So we need a few things to be working before we can achieve that balance. And then again, the real challenging balance is through movement. So we will be doing some static poses, but definitely in our flow practices where the real magic happens. We're going to stay here and we're going to see if we can get a little bit of balance out of this one. So we're going to interlock our middle and index finger around the big toes. And then we're going to bring our body weight slightly back so that we can float those heels off the ground. And then see if we can pick them up. So again, lesser points of contact to the earth, challenging the balance. See if we can pick them up a little bit more, but try not to fall back too much. A little bit more. Again, at this stage, if you want to try bringing those heels apart. So again, slow control movement. If you have the flexibility in those hamstrings, you can always straighten the legs. Unfortunately, I don't. And we're just going to pause here. Challenging for 3. For 2. And 1. Bring those heels back together. And then exhale, release it back down. You can see I don't practice that one enough. Lovely. From here, we're going to come to lie back onto the ground. We can stay in our lovely diamond shape here. So lying back onto the ground. Knees float out. Again, notice the lower back. Just shift the shoulders up so we can reconnect that lower back to the ground. Arms are by the sides, palms are open to the ceiling. We're going to inhale the arms out, reaching back up overhead, but keep those fingertips on the ground. And as we exhale, draw those arms right back down by the sides. And continue with your own breath. So nice slow angels. And the key here is to keep the fingertips on the ground for as long as we can through the movement. And notice if one hand or one fingertip starts to come off the ground, maybe sooner than the other. So again, tuning into any little imbalances within the shoulder complex. Also within the chest here. So if we're quite tight in the chest muscles, we're going to find it very difficult to bring those arms back overhead. And as well as a movement that can tune in with what's going on with the shoulders, this mobilizer is really good at actually trying to soften out that space. So even just doing these mobilizers will give us a lot more range, a lot more freedom within the joints. We're engaging the muscles, really stretching out through those arms. And then eventually we're going to meet with the arms back down. We're going to hug the knees in a nice little squeeze, and then rest both feet to the ground. Feet are flat, knees are bent. We're going to hug the right knee in, resting that right ankle just above the left knee, coming into our figure 4. Gently lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, working that right toe toward the right knee, left foot is relaxed. So we can either interlock the fingers or strap around the back of the left hamstring. Gently peeling the shoulder blades together, feeling that heart space. And as we exhale, work the left knee a little bit closer toward the face as we press the right knee away from the body. Staying in our lovely figure 4, working into that right hip, we're going to inhale, straighten the left leg. And as we exhale, point through the toes. And continue pointing and flexing with your own breath. So again, just mobilizing into those ankle joints. Feeling those lower leg muscles engage and release. And again, we're looking for as much range here as we can. And then we're going to draw a few nice big circles to the right. So as I mentioned before, our foundation, our feet, our ankles, lower legs, is really important when it comes to balance. And if we do have any niggles or weaknesses in that part of the body, we tend to maybe roll our ankles a lot, or we tend to be quite off balance. This is a really good way to work, a good area to work into. We're going to reverse those circles. Nice, full, slow movement. So breath, relax those shoulders to the ground. And relax the movement. We're going to bend the left knee, allow the heel drop. Again, we can stay here for the next couple of breaths, hugging that left knee in, or we might interlock the fingers around the front of the left shin, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the left foot. We're going to cross the right leg, fully overlap. Nice, easy crisscross. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. Shifting the hips to the right, we'll allow both knees drop to the left as we look over the right shoulder. Nice, gentle spinal twist here. Shoulders glued to the ground. If we're finding those knees aren't falling over, we can shift the hips a little bit more to the right. And if we want a bonus stretch into the front of the left hip and quad, we might walk that left foot out a wee bit further and either catch and hold of the front of the foot with the hand or wrapping a strap around it. It's again, option only. Keep drawing that right leg across the body. If we've caught hold of the foot, we're pressing it into the hand or strap and really feeling that lovely activation. Grounding that right shoulder. Nice big belly breaths here. Exaggerate that breath deep into the belly. And then gently extend the right arm back out. Slowly inhale back to center. We're going to uncross the legs. Hug the left knee in this time. Resting the left ankle just above the right knee. Figure 4, draw the toe toward the knee. Rounding that lower back, we're going to pick the right foot off the ground. Shin parallel to the ceiling. And either interlock fingers or strap around the back of that right hamstring. Softening those shoulder blades together. Feel that heart space. And as we exhale, work the right knee a little bit closer toward the face as we press that left knee away from the body. So really feeling that into the left hip here, but not forcing it. And again, noticing is a little bit easier than the other side. And just because you didn't use the strap on the other side, don't be afraid to use it on this side. So if we do find imbalances, we're working toward kind of negating them. So using any props that we need, any little movements that we need to try to reinstate that balance. Relax the breath. From here, we're going to inhale, straighten the right leg. And as we exhale, draw the toes toward the face. So we're inhaling, pointing through the toes, really exaggerate the movement. And as we exhale, draw the toes toward the knee. And continue here with your own breath. And again, noticing one ankle comparing to the other. Noticing imbalances, maybe we can point easier than we can flex. So we're trying to get a nice even range, front to back, left to right. We're going to draw a few nice big circles to the right. Again, keep tuning in with that chest, relax the shoulders, open the heart, release the breath. Getting as much energy into that ankle joint as we can. And then we're going to reverse the circles opposite direction. Nice, slow, full movement, tuning into what's going on in our foundation. Mindfully moving. And then we're going to relax here. Allow that right knee bend, allow the heel drop. We can either stay here, hugging the right knee in, or maybe interlock the fingers around the front of the right shin, only if it feels good for 3. For 2. And 1. Release the right foot. We're going to cross the left leg fully over the right. Extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, palms down. Shift the hips to the left. And then allow both knees drop over to the right, looking over the left shoulder. Nice big belly breaths here. Again, if we want a bonus release into the front of the right hip, we can walk the right foot a little bit further out to the left, maybe even catch hold of the foot with the left hand or wrap a strap around it. But keep drawing the left knee across the body, keep grounding that left shoulder to the mat. Nice big belly breaths. Even as we breathe deeply into the belly, we're going to feel an extra little release into the pelvis and into the front of the core. So again, not just using the breath to get air into the body, but to get space and mobility into the core. Expanding the rib cage. We'll take one more breath. Release the grip, extend the left arm back out, slowly inhale back to center. We're going to uncross the legs, hug both knees into the chest. Hands are rested on the shins. We're going to inhale, press shins into hands, and as we exhale, allow the hips open. Allow the knees come apart, allow the heels work away from each other. Every inhale, press shins into hands. Every exhale, allow those knees drop out. And continue breathing into that space. Nice and easy. Again, not forcing the hips open. Those hands are just there as an extra little bit of weight. Bringing a little bit more attention to that hip space. We'll take one more breath. And then gently draw those knees back into the chest. We're going to crisscross the ankles. Options here to make your way anyway to seat, or you can rock and roll with me just the one time, forward and back, along the mat, bringing ourselves into a nice strong seat at the front of the mat. So we are going to work into our boat pose, very good one for our balance and our core. We're going to sit back a little bit here. Bring those feet out front, knees are bent, knees are together, feet are together. We're going to walk the heels toward the sit bones toward the heels, making ourselves as tiny as we can. We're going to wrap the forearms around those shins and see if we can sit a little bit taller in the spine. So we're trying not to collapse, trying not to round, keep drawing the shoulders back, drawing the belly in, and we're going to try to maintain that lovely length. So we're going to walk those feet out a little bit, but again, maintain that lovely long spine. Extend the arms forward, palms face each other. We're going to gently fall back into our boat, trying not to round. So all the time, rolling those shoulders back, gaze is forward, try to find a point out in front. to fix your gaze. Get nice and light onto the toes here. And again, we can alternate shins parallel to the ceiling. We can bring both shins together, or we can straighten the legs, again, depending on those hamstrings and hips, either pointing to the toes or flexing, whatever feels good. Holding it here, lifting the chest, 1 point of contact to the ground for 3. For 2. And 1, crisscross of the ankles and gently fold forward. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. So again, least points of contact to the ground, the more challenging it's going to be. The more points of contact, like we are here, the more stabilizing and grounding. So we take that kind of challenge out of it. Slowly coming back up to seat, we do the same again. Again, bring those feet out front, knees are together, feet are together, sit as tall as we can. Arms extended forward, palms face each other, gently roll back, keeping the heart open. Shoulders drawn back up onto the tippy toes. Again, maybe alternating shins, maybe both shins together, or again, straightening those legs, lifting through the heart, holding it here. You're going to feel this into the hip flexors too, for 3. For 2. And 1, crisscross and gently fold. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. Maybe even rocking those hips side to side, whatever feels good. We've got 1 more here. We're going to hold this one a little bit longer. Tuck the chin in, slowly roll back up. Again, feet out front, knees together, feet together, sitting tall, maintaining that length, hands extended out front, palms face each other, gently roll back. Maybe bring in 1 shin, 2 shins, maybe straightening the legs. Wherever we are, we're going to hold it here for 5. Lift the heart for 4. For 3. For 2. And 1, crisscross and gently fold. Well done. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. Softening the body, tuck the chin in and really feel that length in behind the neck and all the way down the spine. Gently, we're going to roll back up to seat. We're going to sit back again a little bit more, straighten those legs out in front. Hands are to the ground. In line with the hips, again, depending on what that arm length is. So basically we want nice long arms with a slight softness to the elbows. We want to be able to roll those shoulders back. So the hands can be anywhere in this hip space area, depending on the arm length. From here, we're going to start with knees bent, knees together, feet together. Pressing the hands and feet into the ground. We're going to lift those hips high toward the ceiling. We can stay here. We can try straightening that right leg out. We're going to inhale, lift. And as we exhale, gently lower the hips toward the ground. Inhale, really slowly up. Exhale, really slowly lower. We'll do that 3 more times. Quite strong on that left hamstring, you'll notice. Aiming for height. Stay nice and strong in those arms. Last one. And gently release all the way down to the ground. Again, we're just going to wrap those arms around the shins just to release those shoulders before we go over to the other side. And then when you're ready, bring those hands back by the waist, back by those hips, so wherever it feels good for those arms and shoulders. Feet are together, knees are together. Gently lift. So pressing arms and feet firmly into the ground, and we can keep the feet on the ground. So just challenging the balance, see if we want to straighten that left leg out. Press it away through the heel, keep the hips lifted. Inhale, lift. As we exhale, gently lower the hips, hovering just off the mat. Inhale, really slowly up, gazes forward. Exhale, really slowly lower. 3 more. Again, really feeling that into the right hamstring and glute. Last one. And then gently release all the way down to the ground. Knees are together, we'll crisscross at the ankles. Bring those hands forward to the front of the mat. We're going to step back onto the knees into a nice strong tabletop. Shoulders over, elbows over it, elbow creases face forward, knees hip width distance apart. Inhale, draw the chest forward as we take the gaze up and arch the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, gaze back to the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching. Exhale, round through the spine, really tuck the chin into the chest and continue with your own breath. Nice, generous cat-cow curls, the whole length of the spine. Exaggerate the movement. Maybe close down the eyes and just really tune in with the movement. So again, if we're wanting to engage with those core muscles, it's really important that we have that mobility within the core, within the trunk of the body, and particularly the spine. When we're working into our balance poses, we're working those deeper intrinsic stabilizing muscles. So not so much the muscles that you can obviously see, but the ones, the deeper layers. And again, that's where all the magic happens. We're going to meet back in our tabletop. From here, we're going to step back onto the ball of the right foot and gently press away through the heel. Get a nice little stretch into the back of the leg. And then we're going to drop the right heel down, swivel on the left knee, bring the foot behind us. Left hand stays in the ground, right hand comes to the hip. Again, if we find we're collapsing forward, we can come up onto the fingertips or up onto a block with that left hand. Really pressing those hips forward. We're going to inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, reach it all the way to the front of the room, right back in line with the ear. Inhale, right elbow, right knee into touch. As we exhale, straighten it out, pressing away through the heel. And continue with your own breath. Try not to touch the foot down, so we're challenging the balance. If you want to challenge the balance with a moving point of focus, we can follow that right middle finger with the gaze. So our point of focus is very much a way of either challenging or making our balance easier. So a moving point is going to challenge it. If we have a fixed point or a point on the floor, we're going to ground or we're going to stabilize ourselves. So not as challenging. So it just depends on where you're at within your balance practice. And you can have a little play around with it. We're going to meet an extension. Keeping the foot hovered off the ground this time. We're going to bring the arm right back in line with the ear and see if we can lift that right foot. Holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Drop the right foot down. We're going to come all the way up. Brilliant. Hands come to hips. We're going to press the outer blade of that right foot into the ground. Inhale the left arm up, and as we exhale, reach all the way over to the right. Maybe taking the gaze up toward that left hand for 3. Pressing the hips to the left for 2. And 1, slowly coming that left hand back to the ground. We're going to lift the right foot, extend the right arm overhead. Inhale all the way back up. Right hand comes to the hip, left hand comes overhead in line with the ear. Inhale, left arm up. As we exhale, left hand comes to the ground, lift the foot, bring the right arm overhead. So again, you get the deal. We're going to rock side to side with your own breath. So again, challenging the balance through movement. Trying to aim for length and lift. Next time that left arm comes down, we're going to stay there. And then we can rest the right foot down, bring the right hand back to meet left, swivel on the left knee, right knee comes all the way back into our tabletop. We're going to step back onto the ball of the left foot, gently pressing away through the heel for 3. For 2. And 1, drop the left heel down. We're going to swivel on the right knee, bring the foot behind us. Right hand stays on the ground. Left hand comes to the hip. We're really pressing that outer blade of the foot into the ground. Inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, reach those left fingertips to the front of the room. Nice strong line, fingertips to outer blade of that left foot. Inhale, left elbow, left knee into touch. Exhale, extend it out. Continuing with your own breath. Again, if you want to challenge the balance, following the middle left finger with the gaze. Otherwise, gaze goes to the side of the room or to the floor. Try to keep that left foot hovered off the ground, and just notice if you're crunching into the front of the body, maybe even reaching the left arm and foot back as we extend it. So again, try to create that space into the front and that engagement into the back. When you're ready, we're going to meet an extension, keeping the foot hovered off the ground. Bring the arm right down in line with the ear, lifting that left foot. We're going to hold it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, drop the left foot. We're going to bring ourselves all the way up through to center. Left hand comes to the waist. We'll inhale the right arm up, flip the palm, and as we exhale, reach the right arm to the left. Maybe take the gaze up here for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back to center. As we exhale, drop that right hand down, lift the left foot, bring that left arm overhead. Inhale back to center. As we exhale, left hand comes to the waist, right arm reaches overhead. And continue rocking side to side with control, with your own breath. Again, we're aiming for length and lift, full engagement. Relax the breath. Next time we have that right hand on the ground, we're going to stay there. Resting the left foot down, bring the left hand back to meet right swivel on the right knee. Left knee comes back into our tabletop. Lovely. From here, we're going to tuck both toes under, gently sit back toward the heels. Pressing the ground away as we walk those hands forward. See if we can sink the forehead toward the ground or to a block or to a cushion. And we're just going to rest here in our child's pose variation. Maybe wriggling through those toes, getting a nice little bit of space into the arches of the feet. Feel the chest melt, the belly melt, those shoulders release. From here, pressing the hands into the ground, we're going to lift the head. Gently lift the knees and press those hips as high as we can toward the ceiling, coming right up onto the tippy toes. And as we exhale, release those heels down to the ground, coming into our downward dog. Press the chest toward the ground, try to get a little bit more space in between the shoulders. Lifting the hips, drawing the belly in, and then see if we can sink the heels a little bit more and just gently walk it out. Nice and relaxed. Lowering those heels, getting a nice little bit of extension in behind the legs, but again, not forcing it. Notice if the one heel comes down a little bit easier than the other. So again, is it a leg thing? Is it an ankle mobility? So just tuning in with what is going on with our bodies this morning. Relax the head, relax the neck. Coming to stillness here. We're going to inhale the right leg up, bend the right knee, and we're going to open those hips to the right side of the room. Pressing the sole of that right foot as far to the left as we can. See if we can lift the right knee a little bit higher and drop that left heel. We can stay here for the next few breaths. If you want to challenge it, we're going to see if we can bring that right foot down to the ground in line with the left. So both feet point to the back of the mat, both feet are parallel. We're lifting the hips and we're reaching back through that right arm. Option to go into full wheel if it's in your practice. I'm not going to go there myself. And again, we can take those gazes back toward the right fingertips, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Looking back to the ground, coming up onto the ball of the left foot. We're going to bring that right hand back to the ground, lift the right foot up, and then exhale, release it to the ground. Just coming into child's pose momentarily, sitting back toward the heels, rest the head, and rest those hands back by the feet. So again, option only, go to where your body feels good. We're still challenging the balance, we're still engaging, we're still releasing. 1 more breath. And then gently bring those hands back out in front, tuck the chin in, pressing the ground away, tuck the toes under, downward dog. Same pose, opposite side. We're going to inhale, lift the left leg, bend the left knee, opening those hips to the left side, pressing the sole of the left foot as far to the right and lifting that knee. See if we can drop the right heel down a little bit more. And this in itself, please stay here if this feels better, more stable this morning. Otherwise, we're going to slowly, with control, drop that left foot down to the ground. Both feet are pointed toward the back of the room. Feet are parallel. Right hand pressed into the ground. And let's see if we can extend that left arm back overhead. Lifting the hips, pressing feet and arms strongly into the ground for 3,
Nice big belly breaths for 2. And 1, onto the ball of the right foot. We're going to gently bring that left hand back to meet right. Bring that left foot back into our 3-legged dog. And then exhale, bring that left foot down into our full downward dog. We're going to look forward between the hands. Gently walk our way to the front of the mat. Come into a nice wide-legged forward fold here. Just to let everything hang out. Head, neck, arms, shoulders release. Feet are about the width of the mat apart. We're going to bend deeply into the knees and just rest the belly here. So working into the lower back and hips. Head and neck are released. If the hands don't touch the ground, just hold on to opposite elbows. Give the head a little shake side to side to remind it to release. So from here, if those hands aren't touching the ground, I want you to bring your feet as wide apart that they will touch the ground. Okay, so wherever that might be, it might be wider than mat width apart. We want those hands on the ground, nice and flat. And then from here, we're going to see if we can sit back into our little cobbler pose. Okay, so you might find, again, depending on how those lower legs and ankles are, we mightn't quite get the heels down. That is okay. They'll get there eventually, or they might not. Okay, so just go to a place. What we're really focusing on here is a little bit of hip space. If those arms want to pop inside the knees, then we can bring the hands together. Gaze is forward, nice and relaxed. So quite deep into the hips. No tension on the knees here. Lift the heels if you need, or cushion underneath them. You can always roll up a mat if you're working on this in your own time. Place it underneath the heels, or maybe a little bit of cushioning. And then maybe over time that depth of that mat or that cushion gets a little bit less, and we'll work those heels down. Lovely. From here, bring those hands back to the ground. Slowly, we're going to straighten the legs. Walk the feet until they're about hip width distance apart. Tuck the chin in and slowly roll the rest of the way up to stand. Head comes up last. Lovely. Take a little drink here. We're going to get nice and flowy for the rest of our practice this morning. So to start with, we're going to work into our dancer pose. So I'm going to invite you to come to within reach of a wall or table, just in case you need it. All right. So we're going to be working, so the table or the wall is in front of us like I have so here. Feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart. Arms are by the sides. We're going to bend the right knee. We can bring those knees together here. We're going to get the right hand and we're going to catch hold of the inner arch of the foot so that the wrist is facing out the way. So the inner arch of the foot, left hand is on the hip. And we're taking the gaze forward. We're pressing that foot into the hands. We really feel that nice activation into the front of the right hip and quad. And that might be as far as we go. Again, feel free to use that wall out front or that table out front. If we want to go a little bit further, we're going to inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, press the foot into the hand. Press it as we do so. We're lifting the knee, but we're keeping the knee toward the center line of the body. So it's not splaying out. And if that feels good, we can hinge forward. Pressing the index finger and thumb together. So we're creating a little energy line. And again, gaze is forward and still. We're going to hold it here, lifting that right knee for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly coming back through center. We're going to hug the right knee into the chest. Give it a nice little squeeze. Release. Left hand comes to the outside of that right thigh. We'll inhale the right arm up. And as you exhale, gently twist to the right. Holding it here. Gaze goes back for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, turn to the front, hands come to heart. We're going to open that right hip. So we're going to work into our tree pose from here. We can either place the foot, the heel just above the ankle, the foot to that left calf, or to the upper inner thigh, and we're going to hold it here. Working that right knee out the ways, relax the shoulders, find that pointed front to fix your gaze, drawing the belly in. If we want to come into our full tree, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up, palms together, and as we exhale, open into our branches. Index finger and thumb press together. So just a little mini flow here within our static standing poses, really challenging that left standing leg here.
And again, if at any stage you drop out, just come right back in. So the nice thing about our stabilizing or balance poses is we can only get better through practice. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, hands back to center. As we exhale, bring that right knee out in front, and then exhale, let it go. Well done. And shake that left foot out. So again, don't be afraid to use anything around you to tip off, and then hopefully those little tips will become a little bit less as we get stronger in the practice. Again, we're going to start on the other side. Feet together, knees together. Relax the hands by the sides, open into the heart, palms step forward. We're going to bend the left knee, keep that knee glued to the right. We're going to get the left hand, catch hold of the inner arch of that left foot so that the left wrist is facing out the ways, out to the left. Keeping the knees toward the center line of the body. We're going to inhale the right arm up, palm faces the left side of the room. We can stay here, we can press that foot into the hand, start to feel that activation, that stretch into the left quad. If that feels good, see if we can lift the left heel away from the bum, but keep the knee toward the center line. Lifting as far as we can. We can't lift any further. Then we can bring that right arm forward. Index finger and thumb come together, gazes forward. And again, you might find you have a little bit more range on one side than the other. Holding it here, lifting that foot for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale back through center. As we exhale, we're going to bring that left knee out in front and really hug it into the body. Release the grip, 90-degree angles at the joints. Right hand comes to the outside of that left leg. We're going to inhale the left arm up, and as we exhale, twist to the left, bring that left arm behind us, gaze goes back. These are really good for bringing focus. Really hard to think of anything apart from our balance poses when we're doing this little sequence. Inhale back to center, hands to heart, opening that left hip, so opening that left knee out to the side. Again, heel either just above the ankle, resting onto the calf, or foot rest to the upper inner thigh. Just make sure we're not pressing into that right knee joint. Relax the shoulders, relax the breath. Keep that point fixed out in front. Working that left knee out, so we're re-engaging with the hips. And again, hips are still pointed forward, so we're not twisting the whole body, just that left hip. If we want to come into our full tree, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up, palms together. And as we exhale, open the arms into our tree, index finger and thumb together. Relax the shoulders, draw the belly in. Again, challenge yourself within the tree if you wish. You can sway your branches, you can close down the eyes. You can come up onto the ball of that right foot, decreasing points of contact to the earth. We'll take 2 more breaths. And bringing those hands back to center. Left knee comes forward, and then exhale, release and let it go. Shaking that right foot out. Well done. Coming to the front of the mat, feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Inhale the arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand stays in the ground. Inhale, left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Left foot comes back to meet right. We're going to walk that left hand to the center of the mat, coming onto the outer blade of that left foot. Again, make sure you can drop to that left knee. Just keep those hips pressed toward the ceiling. Coming into our high side plank, just make sure that left shoulder is stacked over the wrist. We can stay here. We might extend the right arm up toward the ceiling. Focusing here and lifting that right hip, whether the left knee is on or off the ground, we might take the gaze up. Last extension, draw the right toe toward the knee and see if we can lift that right leg. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the foot, release that right hand back to the ground. Left foot or left hand comes parallel. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away.
Downward dog. Nice and easy, walk it out. From stillness here in our downward dog, we'll inhale the right leg up, looking forward, bend the right knee into the chest. We're going to step the right foot forward into lunge, nice and slow. Finger pads walk forward, gently shift the body weight forward until we can lift that left heel high up toward the ceiling. Again, really engaging with those left toes, hips are parallel to the ground. Use the block if we want to straighten that right leg a little bit more. We might hover the fingertips off the ground. We might open those arms into airplane, holding it, lifting that back foot for 3, for 2, and 1. Both hands come to the ground. Left foot comes back to meet right, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, left hand stays on the ground. We'll inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the mat. Stepping right foot back into our plank. Knees on or off the ground, shoulders stacked over elbows, over wrists. Right hand comes to the center. Keep checking in, those joints are stacked. Outer blade of the right foot is on the ground. Left ankle stacked on top. Again, we're lifting those hips. Hand is to the waist. We're pressing the hips forward and upward. Drop to the knee if you need to, but just keep that left hip nice and high. Again, stay here. We might extend the left arm up toward the ceiling. We might take the gaze up. Last extension, draw the left toe toward the knee and see if we can lift the left foot, but try not to allow those hips drop. Feeling that engagement in the side waist for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the foot, release that left hand back to meet right. Re-engage those shoulder muscles. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground, lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog, stillness or walk it out, your choice. Whatever feels good for you, child's pose if you wish. Relax the breath, relax the head, relax the neck. Softening the body. We're going to inhale the left leg up. Looking forward, bend the left knee into the chest. We'll step the left foot forward nice and slow between the hands. Finger pads about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward until we can lift that right heel up as high as we can, keeping the hips parallel to the ground. Straightening that back leg, that left leg, if we can, draw those right toes toward the knee. Maybe hovering the fingertips off the ground, maybe opening those arms into airplane, holding it here, drawing the belly in for 3. Lift that back foot for 2. And 1, bring those hands back. Right foot back to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. When you're ready, feet together, knees together. Palms split forward. We're going to lift that right knee out in front and we're going to cross the right leg over the left as far as we can go. So really starting that crisscross near the hips. Maybe even hooking those right toes around the back of the calf, but keep the hips pointed forward. Extend both arms out in front. We're going to bring the right arm underneath the left, bending at the elbows, and then see if we can either place the hands together, catch hold of the thumbs. Nice little spaghetti string here with the arms. Drawing the shoulders down the spine, see if we can lift those elbows a little bit more, and maybe take the gaze up toward the ceiling. If that feels good, we might sit back a little bit into our half chair, but keep the spine long. So the body isn't folding forward, it's not falling back. We're going to hold it here for 3. For 2. And 1, inhale, stand. We're going to bring that right knee out in front. Soften the left knee. And as we exhale, we're going to step back on to the ball of that right foot. Proprioception here, locating that foot. We're going to drop the right heel down. Open the arms into a warrior. Extend the arms, palms face down, softening into that left knee. We get a little bit of hip space while we're here. We're going to inhale, straighten the left leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the left knee, warrior lunge. 3 more.
So we've quite a lot of engagement in those hips this morning. So just getting a little bit of space here. We're still engaging, but just getting a wee bit more space into the hip flexors. Last one. From our warrior, we're going to bring our right hand to our waist, step that right foot until we can start to transfer our balance or our center of gravity a little bit further forward. We're going to get those left fingertips, reach them toward the ground, and then see if we can lift that right foot as much as we can. Again, we can use our block here. So body is turned to the right side of the room. We can have those fingertips on the block. We're going to open that right shoulder back and maybe even straighten the right arm up toward the ceiling. Holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1, softening the left knee, right hand back to the waist, landing that right foot behind us, back into our warrior. Lovely. Cartwheeling both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right. Gently walking those hands forward. Same again, we're going to shift the body weight forward, lift the right heel. Again, option to stay here. We can even hold on to the wall in front. We might open those arms into airplane if we're practicing, holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Both hands come to the ground. Right foot comes to meet left, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Second side, when you're ready. A little bit of space out in front. Feet are together, knees are together, arms by the sides, palms split forward, drawing the belly in. Relax the shoulders. Find that point of focus. Inhale, we're going to lift that left knee out in front. And as we exhale, cross the left leg in front of the right, as close to the hip line as we can, maybe even hooking that left toe around the calf, only if it feels good. Extend both arms out. This time, left arm comes underneath right. We're going to bend at the elbows and see if we can interlock at the wrists. Catch and hold of thumbs, fingers, maybe placing the hands together. Notice if the shoulders are up around the ears, keep drawing them down the spine, and then see if we can lift those elbows a little bit higher and maybe take the gaze up. If that feels good, we might soften into our chair. Holding it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Inhale, straighten the leg. We're going to bring that left knee out in front. Soften the right knee, and as we exhale, we're going to step back onto the ball of the left foot. Full control here. Dropping the left heel down. We're going to extend the arms into our warrior. Palms face down, softening into that right knee. Inhale, straighten the right leg, arms together, overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the right knee, warrior lunge. 3 more. Again, just getting that extra little bit of length in the body, that extra little bit of hip space. Softening with each exhale. Last one. Again, have that block out in front if you need it. We're going to bring the left hand to the waist. Gently shift that left foot forward until we can start to transfer our center of gravity forward. We're going to reach that right hand toward the ground in front. So nice deep bend to the right knee. And gently we're going to lift that left foot. Now, it might even just be slightly off the ground to start with. We might use that right wall in front of us to rest the hand on. We're drawing the toe toward the knee and we're lifting that left hip. So a lot of engagement there in those hips. Extend the arm up if it feels good. And maybe even take the gaze up if you want to really challenge it. We're going to hold it here for 3. For 2. And 1. Left hand comes back to the hip. Soften the right knee. We're going to land that left foot right behind us, coming back into our warrior. Loads of balance there. Cartwheel both hands down either side of the right foot, coming onto the ball of the left, and then gently step the left foot up to meet right, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a little drink if you need. We've got one last little balance challenge to do. So when you're ready, we're going to meet on or off the mat. So another thing to make our balances
trickier is to have a very soft or cushioned or imperfect surface. If we want to make it a little bit easier, we can come on to the hard floor surface. Okay, so your choice here. We are going to be working into our single legged. So just see how those ankles and lower legs are at. We're going to start feet hip width distance apart, nice and balanced in the hips, relax the shoulders, palms split forward, really grounding that left foot in particular. So really spreading those toes. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front. As we exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to straighten that right leg as we sit back into our chair. Inhale, lift the right knee out in front. As we exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to press the right foot out to the right. Inhale, lift that right knee out in front. Exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to press that right foot behind us. Try not to touch down. Inhale, left the right knee out in front. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the right foot behind us. A little curtsy lunge here. Again, challenging ourselves not to touch down. Inhale, right knee out in front. Exhale, press that right foot forward, sit. Inhale, right knee out in front. Exhale, press it out to the right. So the bend just challenges it a little bit more. If you're not comfortable with the bend, just work on that moving right leg. Otherwise, we're softening that left knee each and every time. Last one on the clock. As we exhale, curtsy. Again, really challenging here. Inhale, right knee out in front. And as we exhale, release and let it go. Well done. Shake that left foot out. So very challenging on that standing leg. Really good for the glutes and for our proprioception, just finding ourselves, finding our center of gravity, really important in our day-to-day. So we're going to meet again. This time we're really grounding that right foot into the mat. So really spreading all corners of the feet, increasing our surface contact. Palms slip forward, shoulders relaxed. We're going to inhale that left knee out in front. As we exhale, soften the right knee. We're going to press that left foot forward as we sit back. Inhale, left knee out in front, lift. As we exhale, press the left foot out to the left and soften that right knee. Inhale, left knee out in front. Exhale, press that left foot back as we soften the right knee. Inhale, left knee out in front. Exhale, left foot tracks behind right, little curtsy lunge. And again, those arms are controlling our balance here as well. You could keep them at heart center, that would actually challenge it a little bit more. So I'm using the arms to kind of counter my movement. But again, if you did want to challenge it more, if you found this too easy, you could always keep those hands to the heart. You could always close down the eyes. So again, loads of ways to work into our balance. Last one. Inhale, left knee out in front. Exhale, release and let it go. Shaking that right foot out. Well done. We're going to come back to the front of the mat. Slowly bring those hands in front. We're going to step back into our downward dog. So just get a little bit of movement in those hips before we finish off. And we're going to walk it out. See if we can rock those hips side to side. So we're bringing a little swagger to our walk. We're looking out underneath opposite armpits, getting an extra little stretch into the side waist. Rolling through the full length of the foot here. Really trying to draw those heels down. Coming right up onto the toes. So again, just a little bit of movement. Quite a lot of activity in the hips and lower legs. So we just want to loosen it out before we finish our practice this morning. And then eventually we're going to come to stillness. Gently release down onto the knees. Bring the big toes to touch, walk those knees nice and wide, and we're going to sit back into a nice wide legged child's pose, making a little pillow by patting one hand or one fist on top of the other. Resting our forehead either onto our pillow or onto a block if it doesn't quite reach. Last little rock of the hips side to side. So releasing any last little bit of tension that we're holding on to. Softening the breath, softening the belly, melting the chest toward the ground. So just allow the body fully relax here. Eventually we're going to come to stillness. And just take a couple of moments to notice where we're at, to notice where our breath is at, notice if we're holding it. Notice if we're frowning, if we're clenching our jaw. So just release any last little feel energy or negative energy that we've been holding on to. Just let it go. Sigh it out and let it go. When you're ready, we're going to tuck the chin in. Slowly lifting the head, we're going to walk the hands back toward the knees until we're sitting right back up onto the heels. So we can walk those knees together. We can either finish here, sitting back onto the heels, or we can come into any other seat that feels better for you to finish your practice this morning. And finishing like we started. So sitting nice and tall, nice and strong, heart is open, shoulders relaxed, spine is long. We're going to open the palms. And then inhale the arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out and let it go. We do that 2 more times. Gently bringing the hands to heart, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourselves for creating a wee bit of space in your morning to come to the mat, to look after yourselves, to create some lovely energy, some lovely balance, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the weekend ahead. And thank you so much for sharing your practice and your energy. Namaste.